John Brennan here again, MMA T Company. We got Dylan Harnish on the other line of this Skype call coming in today. Dylan, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Oh, anytime, man. Thank you. I'm doing well as well. Just trying to stay sane. Trying to, stay in shape as much as we can during these times. Took my dog for a run this morning. She's getting a little slow on me, so can't be running with her as much. What are you doing to stay in shape?
Just a lot of running. I have weights in my basement. I just got a puppy not too long ago, so taking her on walks, and then after we get done with that, take a little jog around town and just trying to stay in shape.
Yeah, I think we all are. What kind of puppy did you get?
Husky.
A husky, yeah. So they'll have tons of energy. You'll be running
Yeah,
plenty.
she has tons of energy.
Yeah, that's awesome. I wanted to connect with you a little bit today. I got a chance to see you fight some of your earlier fights, fighting for Art of War. I noticed that when you're fighting, you're kind of always coming out and going for a finish. Is that actually your goal when you're coming out there to finish people? You have been getting some finishes.
I don't set my mind on having a finish. I think I could put on an exciting fight without a finish, but I think everybody wants to see one. So when that opportunity is available, I'm going to look for it and I'm going to try to take it.
Got you. And when you're going into these fights, specifically your last one for Art of War, was the game plan to kind of keep it standing and finish the fight from there? You see you don't go for finishes, but to keep it standing, and you think you had the striking advantage in that fight?
Yeah, I could tell right from the get-go. He was throwing some lazy jabs, leaving his chin up. I knew that a punch was going to land eventually and be able to connect. I landed a takedown in the first round. He was supposed to be pretty good on the ground, so I just wanted to test that out. I knew there was a minute left. I wasn't worried about anything happening within that minute, so I just decided to get some ground time and then put him away in the second.
Got you. And then you landed that takedown, and he was supposed to be people were saying he's a better grappler than you were,
Yeah.
Which people will say that all the time.
Yeah.
Now you land that takedown. Does that give you more confidence than in your hands in that second round because that threat of the takedown is there?
Yeah, I'm sure that he was aware of it after that too. Knowing that I could get him down, made it a lot easier to just be able to stand with him. I landed a takedown after he landed one punch, so I decided to shoot for the takedown. Eric Strasser's my coach. I'm not going to see anything in a fight that he hasn't put me in before, so I'm not worried about it.
Gotcha. And talking about your coach a little bit, talk a little bit about where you're training, when you are able to get back to the gym, what kind of training you're doing. You said Eric's your coach. How's training going? What are you doing while you're in the gym?
Mostly like Mondays and Wednesdays we'll hit pads and then do like MMA sparring or he's a real heavy grappler. He's a 10th Planet Purple belt. He's very, very slick on the ground. So anytime we get to work any submissions with him, I love learning off of him and everyone else at the gym involved. So hopefully we're able to open up soon. We just moved Mid-World Martial Arts. We're still in Bloomsburg, but we just moved a new location. He started a gym on his own. So we're hoping to get that up and running and whenever this ends.
Yeah, and it could be a little while till it ends, but you said you're staying in shape. I think a lot of people are doing the same thing. Now, when we get back to training, and that first fight comes through, and there's another fight card coming up. Do you have anybody in mind that you would want to fight? Anybody that is kind of in your list of guys you're after?
Well, my last scheduled fight was Cam Algar. I think he's 2-0, 20 years old. That fight got canceled for 247, so I want to run that back. Actually get to fight this time, and then after that, whatever's available. Art of War title. Bickings was talking about that after the first fight if I won, so I'll be 3-0, probably going advanced amateur. So whatever he has lined up, I'll take. I like fighting for Bickings.
Awesome. Yeah, so do I. I mean, I've been fighting for Mike for a while. Now you mentioned advanced amateur. Do you? People go back and forth, right? Training in Pennsylvania because in amateurs you can't strike to the head on the ground. No head kicks, nothing like that. Are you training to the rule set that you're currently fighting at, or do you train more so to the advanced amateur or the pro rules where you're doing those things in the gym?
We throw head kicks and stuff in the gym. If we ever do ground and pound, it's light because we have the small gloves. It's not worth it now, especially when no one has anything lined up. When we're 3 or 4 weeks away from a fight, 2 weeks, we'll do grinders, and that's like balls to the wall. Everyone's trying to kill each other, kind of. So that's where we get the real hard sparring, and that gets us ready for the fights.
Got you. Okay. Now, speaking of real hard sparring and hard training, things like that, I know you're from Schuylkill County, Pennsylvania, and a lot of people from that area, they pride themselves on their toughness, kind of hard-nosed kids and playing football, basketball. Me going to Williams Valley, you went to, I believe, North Schuylkill, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so we were, both in the Schuylkill League, and I always noticed, especially in basketball, we'd play teams outside of the Schuylkill League. They say we play dirty, say we foul a lot, but I think it's just more of a hard-nosed, more physical area where people aren't afraid to get their hands dirty. Do you think that plays into the way that you fight at all?
Yeah, I'm sure it takes some. I take something from that. No one around here is supposed to make it. They're not supposed to be anything. There's a lot of drugs around here and stuff like that. So people to make it out of here, I think that's a big thing. So I pride myself on that, and I come around here now and everybody knows me, and I'm 19, 2-0 as an amateur. So I can only imagine if I end up making it, and I just want to show people that they can make it coming out of town like this and a county like this.
Yeah, I think that's an impactful thing that you're doing in MMA. You say you're only 2-0 as an amateur. I remember when I first started fighting, I didn't think it was that big of a deal either. I'm 2-0. There's guys doing tons greater things than I am. But then you go back to your hometown and everybody does kind of know who you are. They say they watch your fight, things like that. Is that inspiration for you to keep fighting?
Yeah, of course. When the highlights come out and you look at the YouTube views and everyone commenting on your Facebook and Instagram pages and saying like, oh, I want to make it to a fight. You got people like you who are making shirts for us and people buying them because they want support. All these fighters need support. Like none of this is possible without the fans. I was supposed to fight in Pittsburgh with no fans. Obviously I wasn't gonna say no because I wanted to beat the kid up, but obviously you're there for the fans. Like you want to give them a show. They paid to be there. So you just want to give them everything that they came to see.
For sure. And, a lot of fans, my fans that come to my fights, they really only come to see me fight. They're not MMA fans, they're mom and pop business owners, they're my family, things like that. Do you feel the kind of the same way with people that come out to see you?
Like my brother and my dad are big MMA fans. My mom not so much. She doesn't like the idea of it. She sits there and just yells the whole time. But a lot of my brother's friends, they're basic MMA fans. A lot of my friends, none of them probably knew what it was before I started fighting. So it's kind of a little mixture. Like my dad and my brother, they like watching the UFC and stuff. So other than that, everyone else is kind of just there for me.
And do you now, people do come out, they come out to see us just fight specifically. Do you think that turns more people into just strictly MMA fans? Do you think that they follow the sport more afterwards?
I think so. I think that could change a lot of people's mind. The atmosphere at these local shows, the crowds are. I've never fought in front of a bad crowd.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that could change their mind to thinking that this isn't. A lot of people probably have a negative opinion about MMA, thinking it's just two people fight each other. But there's a lot more to that. The fighting is the easy part. It's the weight cut and the 8-week training camp that you put into things that nobody gets to see. So when people actually start to realize what you go through to actually get in there and fight in front of 1,000 people or however many, I think they actually start to appreciate it and realize that it's actually a legitimate sport.
Yeah, I would agree. I think, regional shows like Art of War have created a lot more MMA fans than it could ever have turned away. I don't think you can go to an Art of War show and not have some kind of, soft spot for your heart for local MMA after something like that.
Yeah, for sure.
And then, we're fighting on those stages and, there's 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 people. You say you want to get to the next level, you go to that next level, maybe you're fighting in front of 5 and then, maybe in front of 7,000 people. Do the bright lights, things like that, does that affect you? Do you get nervous? How do you feel before fights?
No, the nerves isn't anything that really bothers me. I would prefer to fight in front of more people than less people because I don't know, other than the people that came for me, I don't know any of those people. Mm-hmm. So what's the worst that happened? I lose and I never see them again, or I win and they remember me every time they come to watch a fight. Mm-hmm. So I would rather fight in front of 100,000 people than 100 people. I like the bright lights. I like being able to step up and just taking everything in.
Awesome. And, I personally feel like when I'm fighting, losing is not the thing that I'm really concerned about or worried about or nervous about. It's more of putting on a bad show almost for myself. If I go out, I fight a guy that's better than me, I lose, right? That's okay if I put on a good performance. You feel the same way? Are you out there, for yourself? Everybody wants to win, but say you come up against a guy that's better than you, and you just kind of outclass that night. How are you feeling about that? How do you take that away?
That that's my biggest fear. I lost one kickboxing fight when I injured my leg, and then I lost another kickboxing fight to John Wonder. And me and Eric, we recently left the gym that we were training at previously before we got this open and running. And it was, I think, 2 weeks before the fight. We were training in the park. We were hitting pads in the park. We got barely any sparring in. And I ended up losing to John Wonder. And 5 minutes before the fight, I looked at Eric. I'm like, why do I do this? Just that's the first time I ever was hit with emotion and nerves. And he's like, ask me the same question in 10 minutes. And I got beat up the first round, and halfway through the second round, something clicked in my head. I'm like, shit, I need to be here. Like, it's too late now. So I started picking it up at the second round, and then I won the third round. I ended up losing the fight. But that's the first time where, like, I wasn't able to admit. Like, I think if we fought 10 times, that would have been the only time he won. He's not better than me. So that part really haunts me. But I'm not going to have any cakewalk fights anymore. So if I end up losing an amateur fight or one of my first pro fights, it's going to be because they're better, not because I wasn't prepared. Now, I have no reason to not be prepared. So if someone's better, they're better, and I'm going to ask the promoter for a rematch until I get that rematch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that a lot of amateurs and then early level pros always kind of toil with in their head is, do I want to try to book easy fights or do I want to test myself? And you get always to that point where you got to test yourself. You're not going to get any better if you're not fighting better competition.
Yeah, I don't want to take any cakewalks. I wanted to do a boxing fight before I turned pro, and I got offered a boxing fight, and they're like, we'll find you some guy that's 2-8 just so you could box. I'm like, I don't want to do that's 2-8. Like, that just doesn't make sense. And that's how promoters are. When they know that you're going to be beneficial towards them, they want to do stuff like that. But Bicking's never tried to beat around the bush with me. He wants me to fight for the title. There's other promoters that just aren't like that. Him and Gary are two of the guys that I trust the most, so whatever they offer, I'm going to take. Hard, easy, whatever it is. I just want the best competition.
Right on. And hopefully we can, all be back in the cage competing soon. We'd love to fight on the same card that you're on when Bickings is up and running again.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Dylan, it was a pleasure today, really sitting chatting with you. Before we go, let everybody listening know, where they can find you on social and then where they can find your merch.
If you go through MMA Tea Company and the fighters list, I'm on there. I just want to thank my sponsors. I had a couple people that I made a package deal. The more expensive ones, I'm making a banner and stuff for the fights to hang on the cage. So I just want to thank those people most importantly. All the small businesses around here just gave me so much support and time and effort into doing all these things with sending me the logos and the sponsors. So I really appreciate all them. I just hope that we're up and running soon and we're able to fight soon and just stay in shape and get ready. And I just want to fight again. Having that fight canceled kind of put something in my head where, like, this stuff needs to end and we just need to get back there. We have a goals board at the gym, and I wrote on the goals board that I wanted to win 2 MMA titles this year. So that's really putting a hold to all that. So once this picks back up, I'm going to try to fight every month.
Awesome. We're looking forward to it, Dylan. We'll be on the same card soon enough. Take care, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Stay safe.
Yeah, same to you. Thanks.
Thank you.